there. So I'm here with another box of books. This box is from Follett. I wanted to do another book unboxing to share with you the books that came in this shipment in case there's something that you would like to check out. The first book in our box is, let me just adjust this. Okay, the first book in our box is Mr. Limoncello's All-Star Breakout Game. So this is one in the Mr. Limoncello series. So if you're someone who likes mysteries, this might be the series for you, or if you've been reading the series and you've been looking for the newest one, we now have it. I also have here The Benefits of Being an Octopus, and this is by Anne Braden. On the front it says, "This is a compassionate look at poverty, hard choices, and defending one's right to be treated humanely. A very fine first novel written with a deft hand." 7th grader Zoe takes care of her younger siblings after school every day while her mom is at work. They all live with Lenny, her mom's boyfriend, in his trailer. Zoe thinks everything would be easier if she were an octopus, with 8 arms, camouflage ability, protective defenses, and steady vision. At school, Zoe and her only friend, Fuchsia, try to stay under the radar. When she's forced to join the debate club, Zoe starts seeing things in a new way, including her mom's relationship with Lenny, Fuchsia's situation, and her own place in a judgmental town. Can Zoe find the courage to speak up, even if it means risking the most stable home she's ever had? Okay, our next one is a graphic novel, which has been a very popular genre already this year, Pilu of the Woods. See in there. Very nice pictures. It says, Willow loves the woods near her house. They're calm and quiet, so different from her own turbulent emotions, which she keeps locked away. When her emotions get the better of her one day, she decides to run away into the woods. There, she meets Pilu, a lost tree spirit who can't find her way back home, which turns out to be the magnolia grove Willow's mom used to take her to. Willow offers to help Pilu, and the two quickly become friends. But the journey is long, and Pilu isn't sure she's ready to return home yet, which infuriates Willow, who's determined to make up for her own mistakes by getting Pilu back safely. As the storm rages and Willow's emotions bubble to the surface, they suddenly take on a physical form, putting both girls in danger and forcing Willow to confront her inner feelings once and for all. So not just a graphic novel, but a fantasy novel as well with some adventure in there. Okay, we have An Invisible Thread by Laura Schroff and Alex Tresniowski. It's a #1 New York Times bestseller. And this is it was an adult book. This is the adaptation for young readers. It says, "Miss Laura, I consider my childhood a gift," Marie said. "As hard as it was, it taught me the right way to raise my own children. I saw what my father did, and I might have grown up thinking that was the only way to be a dad. But then I met you, and you taught me there was another way." Laura smiled and fought the urge to cry. She looked at Maurice as if she could hardly believe how much he'd grown, how he was no longer a young boy, but a young man. "All my life I carried the bad things in my childhood around with me, and they made me sad," she said. "But then I met you, Maurice, and you were so brave. You taught me the most valuable lesson about life. You taught me not to feel bad about the things I don't have, and instead to feel blessed by the things I do have. You taught me about the true blessings in life." It's kind of cut off there at the bottom. Inside it says, on one rainy afternoon on a crowded New York City street corner, 11-year-old Maurice met Laura. Maurice asked Laura for spare change because he was hungry, and something made Laura stop and ask Maurice if she could take him to lunch instead. Maurice and Laura went to lunch together and also bought ice cream cones and played video games. It was the beginning of an unlikely magical friendship that changed both of their lives forever. An Invisible Thread is the true story of the bond between an 11-year-old boy and a busy executive, a heartwarming journey of hope, kindness, adventure, and love, and the power of fate to help us find our way. So this one is it's nonfiction, so it's narrative nonfiction. So it's a true story, but it's written like any fiction book would be written, with dialogue and narrative, that sort of thing. Planet Earth is Blue. I like the cover on that. A powerful story about the extraordinary mind of a young girl with autism and the bond between sisters. 12-year-old Nova is eagerly awaiting the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger. Nova and her big sister Bridget love astronomy, and they plan to watch the launch together. But Bridget has disappeared, and now Nova is in a new foster home. Nova is autistic. Speaking is hard for her. Teachers and foster families have always believed that she isn't as smart as other kids. Only Bridget knows how wrong they are. But now, as the lift-off draws closer, others begin to see how intelligent Nova is. And every day she's counting down to the launch and to the moment when she'll see Bridget again. This brilliant and eloquent debut promotes empathy, kindness, and hope in the face of challenges. Sharing Nova's emotions and her passion for the stars, readers will discover that Nova is an explorer who journeys far beyond others' assumptions. We have The Stormkeeper's Island, an island that never forgets, a boy who discovers his destiny, by Catherine Doyle. It says, the island inhaled, the sky quieted, the rain sputtered into a light drizzle, and the thunder faded as Fionn sank into a different layer of Erinmore. The water was dragged away from the cliffs, the waves trickling back out to sea until the beach emerged below him. Fionn lowered himself onto the crumbling staircase. He crept down, 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 following the sinking tide as ravens swooped from the sky and beckoned him onward. The island fell eerily silent. A trickle of seawater crossed the sandbank and slithered inside like a snake. Fionn followed it into the cave. The island watched him go. Well, that sounds really cool. It says magical in every way, and that quote is by Ian Colfer, the author of Artemis Fowl. Rebecca Steed says it's imaginative and exhilarating. Put some of these down here. This pile is getting big. All right, let's see what else we've got. We have The Last Life of Prince Alistair. That looks like another fantasy book here. A Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding. 300 years ago, fate bound Prosper Redding and Prince Alistair of the Third Realm together. Now the human boy and the fiend heir to the demon kingdom must put aside a centuries-old blood feud to save everything they love. Alistair will guide Prosper through the demon realm under one huge condition. Prosper must enter into a contract with the malefactor residing inside of him. Promise eternal servitude in the afterlife. With Prosper's sister in the clutches of the evil Queen Pyra, Prosper has no choice but to agree. But when they arrive in Alistair's deliciously demonic home, the realm is almost as alien to Alistair as it is to Prosper. The lowest fiends have dethroned the ruling malefactors, while an unfathomable force called the Void is swiftly consuming the realm. The desperate fiends cling to one person who says she can stop it, Pyra. As Prosper embarks on a perilous rescue mission to the Tower of No Return, he can't help but feel for the demons losing their home. Even Alistair, who lives by a set of rules that have vanished in a new world. With the fates of humans and demons at odds, the battle lines are drawn. Long ago, Honor Redding proved that humans and demons could never be friends. But is Prosper the same as Honor? And is Alistair the same demon who was betrayed by the one human he cared for? So that actually might be in horror and suspense. I have to look at that one a little bit more. We have Queer Heroes meet 53 LGBTQ heroes from the past and the present. We have Midsummer's Mayhem by Rajani LaRocca, a delectable treat for food and literary connoisseurs alike. 11-year-old Mimi Maxon comes from a big Indian American family. The youngest of four, she feels invisible, but her dream of proving herself seems possible when she enters a contest at the brand new bakery in town. But when Mimi's dad, a renowned food writer, mysteriously loses his highly honed sense of taste, she worries she'll never be able to bake something impressive enough to propel her gastronomic fame. So if you like to cook, bake, that could be your thing. We have another Pride Wars book. So this, I believe, is the first one. We have a brand new copy of this, and we also now have a brand new copy of this. We have missing book 4 from the Unwanted Quest series. So we do have the whole series now. If you're into books with dragons, that's that sort of fantasy book. We have Benchwarmers by John Feinstein, soccer book. We have the Other Words for Home. Other Words for Home. It says, I am learning how to be sad and happy at the same time. Jude never thought she'd be leaving her beloved older brother and father behind, all the way across the ocean in Syria. But when things in her hometown started becoming volatile, Jude and her mother are sent to live in Cincinnati with relatives. So it's a story of her relocation. So if you're interested in a lot of the new refugee titles that have been out, I know a lot of you seem to be into that kind of story and curious about what that's like. There's another one. We also have Shouting at the Rain by Linda Mullally Hunt. That's the author of Fish in a Tree. This is the summer Delcy is learning. You don't share your deepest feelings with just anyone. Some friends are glitter and some are glue. The sun is always in the sky. It just gets hidden sometimes. It says, you don't have to weather the storm alone. Delcy loves a good storm, except when squalls are in her life. Her summer friend Brandy is back on Cape Cod at last, but devastates her by dumping her for a new friend. And she could really use a mom right now, except hers left years ago, and her loving Grammy won't discuss that, saying it's too painful. So when she meets snarky Ronan, supposedly a liar and a thief, Delcy wonders if he's another storm on the horizon. Turns out, he's caring and courageous, a fisherman's son who'd rather protect sea life than eat it. But she recognizes something else too. He is lonely, just like she is. As they traipse around the Cape, they uncover deep neighborhood secrets, stand up to cruelty, and get into good and bad trouble. But they also open up to each other and tackle complicated stuff, like what it means to be angry versus sad, broken versus whole, and abandoned versus loved. We have Stanley Will Probably Be Fine. Nobody knows comics trivia like Stanley Fortinbras, who knows comics trivia. It's what he takes comfort in when the world around him gets to be too much. And after he faints during a safety assembly, Stanley takes his love of comics up a level by inventing his own imaginary superhero named John Lockdown to help him through. Help is what he needs because Stanley's entered Trivia Quest, a giant comics trivia treasure hunt to prove he can tackle his worries, score VIP passes to Comic Fest, and win back his ex-best friend. Partner with his fearless new neighbor, Liberty, Stanley faces his most epic, overwhelming challenge day ever. What would John Lockdown do? Stanley's about to find out. I also have here Sticks and Stones by Abby Cooper. It says, words can never hurt. Ever since she was a baby, the words people used to describe Elise have instantly appeared on her arms and legs. At first, it was just cute and adorable. But as she got older and kids have gotten meaner, words like loser and pathetic appear, and those words bubble up and itch. Then there are words like interesting, which she's not really sure how to feel about. Now at age 12, Elise is starting middle school, and just when her friends who used to accept and protect her are drifting away, she receives an anonymous note saying, I know who you are and I know what you're dealing with. I want to help. Can Elise figure out who is sending the notes and how to be happy with herself? Very interesting. Something I think we can all relate to on some level. Yeah, here, Pie in the Sky, a graphic, kind of semi-graphic novel by Remy Lai. When I say semi-graphic novel, there are pages that are a little bit more typical of regular narration, but then there are pages that are very much like a graphic novel. So it's a nice combination, I guess, of the two. It says heartwarming and rib tickling. So I guess it's sweet and funny. Sometimes life isn't a piece of cake. When Jingwen moves to a new country, he feels like he's landed on Mars. School is torture. Making friends is impossible since he doesn't speak English, and he's often stuck looking after his extremely annoying little brother, Yang Hao. To distract himself from the loneliness, Jingwen daydreams about making all the cakes on the menu of Pie in the Sky, the bakery his father had planned to open before he unexpectedly passed away. The only problem is, his mother has laid down one major rule. The brothers are not to use the oven when she's at work. As Jingwen and Yang Hao bake elaborate cakes, they'll have to serve elaborate excuses to Mama in order to keep the cake making a secret. In her moving laugh-out-loud debut illustrated novel, Remy Lai brings to life the story of a young immigrant who feels lost, but through brotherhood, friendship, and lots of baking hijinks, finds his way home. So that seems like a sweet and fun story, just like they said on the front. Heartwarming and rib-tickling. We have another copy of Trials of Apollo. And we have I Am Not a Toilet Paper Roll project book for our makerspace. Look at all those fun things you can make with toilet paper rolls. We have tons of them in the makerspace. We have a small zombie problems book 1. And last but not least, we have the Red Pyramid. But it's the graphic novel. Yay! I'm actually going to be getting a lot more of these. Apparently all or most of Rick Riordan's series have been made into graphic novels. So if you like graphic novels, you also like Rick Riordan, or maybe you just like these series and you might like to read them again in a different format, this should be pretty fun for you. And that's the last of the books. So I hope that you saw something you liked, and remember that you can come check out books in the Media Center right before homeroom, during lunch on certain days, during enrichment, and right after school. Thanks for watching.